Hi everyone. This episode of the Lim Kopi podcast discusses themes of anxiety, mental well-being, and depression. If you are in crisis, please do seek help immediately. Do check out the relevant resources in the description box in both YouTube and Spotify release. Stay safe, everyone. Hello everybody, welcome back to episode of the Lim Kopi podcast. Alright, it's been some time since we started another episode with another guest. Since I would say Wilson's episode, or at least Chansing's episode. But I'm very thankful to be back, and finally we do have a location sponsor. No. Okay, just to clarify, Eden has kindly, our guest Eden has kindly allowed us to film at her office. So thank you so much for having me here.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
It's a wonderful place here. Yeah,
yes,
so
it's awesome.
Yeah, it's really awesome here, and I'm just very thankful to be shooting not at my house anymore, because I'm getting so sick of my own like set place as well already. So to be able to shoot somewhere that's different, it's just very refreshing, I would say. Also, if you're watching this in the video version, that you know what I'm talking about. It's not at home anymore, so at least it's somewhere different. But we just talked a little briefly about how we met. So this is my guest, Eden. You want to introduce yourself?
Hi. Okay. I'm Eden. So I basically do sound waves. I provide sound waves that make you feel awesome. So for example, if you're stressed, I have sound waves to help you feel more relaxed. Or if you're depressed, I can help provide sound waves that make you feel more happier and more positive.
Oh, so what was the sound waves that can help a person?
Basically sound waves that influence your brain waves. Mm-hmm. Yes, because our different moods are influenced by different brain waves.
Oh no, don't worry about the microphone.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it sounds really interesting. I think how I met you was through this service that you're providing, which is the sound waves. Even prior to that, I actually met her through a poly classmate, which is Jolene. You still remember Jolene. So Jolene, if you're watching this, please contact me. I would love to have you on the podcast. But I think Jolene, I met her through a Diploma Plus program.
Oh, okay.
So it's a night class thing. Mm-hmm. So I have her as a classmate. Then I didn't expect myself to actually contact her even years after graduation. So I'm once in a while I do talk to her here and there. And I do catch up with her. So I think one fine day she actually introduced to me about this job that you're wanting to do.
Yeah, I think you got to do some video.
Some video stuff. So then I asked you about it, and I think we didn't go through the job offer, but it's okay. Well, no feelings hurt. So don't worry. But I think we did reconnect after a bit. Then you were sharing about your sound waves. And from there, we just connected from there. And we went through one program, which was about 1 month. And I actually enjoyed myself. I'm much more calmer. And I feel I've learned so much about myself.
I think your progress was amazing. Yeah.
Oh, really? You want to share more about it?
I think you made a lot. I think you told me some difficulties you were facing. Mm-hmm. That's why I thought that this program was a good fit for you. Yeah. I think it'd be very apt if you shared like what were your difficulties and why did you want to try out this program?
I think the reason I wanted to try out this program is because back then, which is almost like 6 months ago-ish, I was going through like a lot of difficulties in terms of my life. And because I was doing a bit of part-time as well back then. So in terms of the job scope itself, I had to handle a lot of people. So I was doing safe distancing ambassador at an organization. So I deal with a lot of people, and sometimes like people stress me out, even though like I'm extrovert. But when I'm being confronted, and as well as things gets in the way
Yep.
that is not according to my plan, I freaked out, I get anxious, I panic easily, and all that. And even up to this day, when I'm still like doing my own full-time job, people do recognize that, hey, this Kok Hao always had to panic one, or this Kok Hao doesn't know how to relax. So I think for that aspect itself, I recognize that this is an issue of mine, and not just by my colleagues, but as well as my friends around me, my family, and all that. That's why I was asking you about it. Like, is there a way for me to de-stress,
Yeah.
or at least not to get too anxious, lah?
Yep.
So when I went through your program, the sound waves actually did help me to relax a lot more, and as well as I feel like in that period itself for 1 month, I became a little less depressed in a way, because it helped me to relax, it helped me to distress, it helped me to be more focused in my life. So what do you think?
I felt that I could see the difference as well. And I remember you telling me that just after 1 month after training, you said that you could handle more people, and you could slow down and take control of the situation. And what else? You could handle more people than you previously would have been able to.
Yeah.
That really struck out to me.
Yeah, correct. I think that is a very transformative experience that I wouldn't mind going through again. Just that I think after a while, the sound waves, it became more of a lifestyle. So once in a while, I do go back to the sound waves
Nice.
when I do need to really relax. Like sometimes at work, I'll just listen a little bit, like just calming sounds,
Yeah.
or maybe just some like instrumental music. It really did help me to like slow down in life,
Yep.
and at least like to observe my surroundings way more.
I remember that you mentioned that as well, about being you're saying like slowing down and remembering to breathe and being more present.
Yes, correct. So you must be wondering why we are talking about all of this. Two reasons in particular. In case if you're not noticing, if you're watching this from from YouTube, we're wearing masks right now, of course, because if in case you're still living under a cave, you're still in the COVID pandemic. But I think as of recording from this episode, we just heard from the government that the heightened measures of phase 2 or phase 1, I don't know what they could call it now,
1.5.
1.5 or circuit breaker 2.0. There's a lot of memes out there, but the most important thing is that things are more restrictive. So I can't blame the government, because let's be honest, the case has been going up quite a bit recently.
Yeah.
And we are transiting from work from home. We're transiting from work from office to work from home.
Back to work from home. Yeah.
Yeah. So in this episode, we're mainly going to talk about one simple thing, which is about how we deal with mental stress, and as well as if we can share a little bit about depression, because I think both of us, we do have some similar experiences in terms of how we dealt with it, and as well as our own personal stories of how we have depression episodes. And it's not just limited to our own lives, but as well as during work from home, right? It's not easy because you are being cooped up at home and not having the fresh air to go out, or at least like if you really couldn't not to go out to have the fresh air, exercise and all that, being at home, just keeping on working and losing track of time, being in that mental loop of state, I think after a while your mind will just go down after a while. And it's not healthy. So we just want to talk about what are the ways that you can really go through, any viable steps that you can take as we are going into this interesting period of our lives, which is called Circuit Breaker 2.0. And let's hope that did not happen. Yeah. Before we go into that, let's talk about our drinks. We've been talking about like things in general, but we forgot about that. So I know you're looking at this and you're like fangirling over this, but maybe you want to share about why is this your favorite drink?
Favorite drink? Okay. I like milkshakes,
Yes.
but I can't take regular milkshakes because there's gluten in it. but I can't take gluten. I'm very sensitive. So this brand Barbells was introduced to me by a friend, and it is gluten-free. And
Oh, sorry. She just dropped her mic. Second time
sorry,
already.
oops.
No worries.
Can you hear me like this?
Yeah, they
Okay.
can hear you.
So it's gluten-free and lactose-free with no added sugar. So yeah, this is my gluten-free milkshake cake.
Okay, I know in the podcast I keep mentioning that the drinks that we're gonna have is gonna be our favorite drinks. Apparently, this is my first time trying this out, and Eden here is like gonna be my first person looking at my reaction. Unfortunately, because I'm wearing the mask right now, so the reaction is not gonna be the most exaggerated. But yeah, barbells. Bearbells.
Bearbells.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Please sponsor me. Thank you. Yeah, we're gonna do with Bearbells today. For herself, she has chosen chocolate flavor. For me, it's strawberry. Do you like why do you like chocolate? Is
Why do
there
you
a
like
good
chocolate?
reason? Or just like chocolate?
Yeah, it's like rich and it's like a treat.
So do you like
Yeah.
what kind of chocolate do you like more? Which is the dark or the light chocolate?
It really depends my mood. Yeah, gluten-free. As long as gluten-free, I'm good to go.
So just gluten-free, that's it.
Yes,
Yeah.
gluten-free, good chocolate. I'm
I
good.
think next time we can talk. Next time we can actually have you again talk about gluten-free.
Oh, okay.
I think
could
you
talk
have
the
a
whole day.
lot to talk about. Yeah. So for me, it's strawberry. One thing I like to say to people is I like strawberry flavor, but not strawberry.
Okay.
So people do get insulted hearing that. Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that I think the flavor itself it's very sweet. But I don't like the fruit itself because it's not sweet. It's usually more towards the sour palate itself.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't really like the fruit, but more towards the flavor lah. Okay, so we can
Yay!
kind of drink this now. I know you've been wanting to. No,
Moment
there's
we've been-
there's the aluminium foil.
What are you waiting for?
Oh, okay. So as we are drinking this, maybe I'll just talk about our today's topic, which is about mental well-being and as well as depression. So let's just start with a simple question. How emotional do you think you are?
How emotional do I think I am?
Yes.
I've always seen myself as someone very moody, someone very low energy. Yeah, so I think once I recognized that and I managed that, actually I really feel much better. I just feel like a regular person lah. Like I mean I have my bad days, but I feel more emotionally stable now.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind me asking you, what do you think are the trigger points whenever you're emotional? Or at least like when you're not emotionally stable? Oh, by the way, it's really good.
Yeah.
I like it. No, I think I might buy this once in a while.
It has 24 grams of protein. Okay, just saying.
24 grams. Wow, that's a lot. Chansing, if you're hearing this, you might want to consider this. He's our previous episode guest that he's into a lot of fitness.
Oh.
So he likes to
Oh.
drink a lot of protein shakes.
Nice.
So I think this one you can kind of try this.
Yeah. Try this.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. The question was right. What are the trigger points for you in terms of when you were more emotionally unstable?
Unstable. I think firstly it's very normal to be down. I think as human beings our moods will fluctuate up and down. That's very normal. Can be triggered by like life events, like life stress, work stress. What else? So from what I've read is that some people are more prone to depression because they're just born like this.
Okay.
I think that a lot of times actually I realize that diet plays a role as well. If like how like a good diet really helps me to manage my emotions and my well-being a lot more. Okay, and catching yourself. Sometimes it's very normal to have like negative, especially when you're cooped up alone.
Okay.
It's very normal to have these negative thoughts.
Mm.
Yeah, so if you let it spiral out of control, then usually that's when it hits.
So
Yeah.
the life events that's happened to you, and as well as diet-wise, as well as just feeling alone when even you have a company around. This is what I'm trying to understand from you, because I think even for me, I do feel that a lot, especially feeling alone when there's people around me. When I mean people, doesn't mean crowd.
Yeah.
I mean people that I knew.
Mm.
So like friends wise or people that are very close to me and all that.
Yeah.
Even when I was with my ex-girlfriend,
Yeah.
sometimes I do feel that loneliness.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean like I don't like a company.
Yeah.
It just means that there's a certain points of life
Yeah.
you just, regardless of who you're with,
Yep.
you will just feel that emotion. So I think it's a very strong emotion that it's not like, oh, if you're angry, just cool down, or but this kind of thing, right, emotions wise, it's not like, oh, there's a certain formula to healing. So there's a lot of factors to it, like how it triggers it, and as well as there's many ways to deal with it. And it's not very easily dealt with at the same time. So for you, like you mentioned, right, and ever since young, you already knew that you kind of knew that something's not right with me. Or am I saying it right? Or
Like I was constantly very, I guess, down. Not constantly, but I had episodes where I was really very down.
episodes.
Yeah.
So I'm a little aware that you were working on this book. That we're not really talking about the book today, but maybe in the book itself, you did share a little bit about your depression episodes. Maybe if you really don't mind sharing a little bit about it, just share like what were the episodes that you faced, and as well as how you dealt with it. We just share about your thought process behind it.
Okay, so let's go with like how it feels like an episode. It could be as simple as not finding it very hard to get out of bed in the morning.
Yeah, that's relatable. Yeah.
Yeah, like you don't see the point of getting out of bed. You can't find the strength to get out of bed. Just this lack of purpose, this lack of motivation, and it feels like it's just all this negative self-talk circling your own head. Yeah, and when you have this such a negative mindset, it translates to life. You just don't have motivation. You're not doing your best. You don't even want to do anything. You're not. I would stop taking care of myself. I would like eat like junk food or just like not bother to work out.
Yeah. So, what were the moments that led you to the healing process?
What were the moments?
Yeah, like what made you want to heal? Because I'm imagining that all this is a constant loop of like one going down and down and down the trend of being in this state of mind. But I'm sure that there are times that maybe people around you, maybe they will talk to you, say, hey, how have you been? Or like what has been happening in your life? Or maybe like you see something along the way that kind of make you feel that, oh, I wanted to change something in my life. I don't want to feel like this anymore. I'm sure there are moments in your life that you felt this way, right? So maybe you want to share that process, like how you found that motivation to carry on, and as well as how all this came to you.
How all this came to me?
Like all this motivation to keep living, and as well as how all these moments came to your life.
Okay, so how did I get better?
Yeah, how do you get better? Yeah, maybe just put it way better here.
Okay, sure. I think just knowing that depression was really a game changer for me, because at least I knew what I was dealing with. Previously, I just thought I'm like this, but having finally a name to it, and then you could see, okay, so what I'm going through, it's normal. It's just depression. I never knew before that what was it. Maybe I'm just like this. I'm just, maybe I'm just a spoiled person, But knowing that it's just a condition, the knowledge was very important. But that what changed was really, I think, a lot of patience with myself, a lot of love for myself, trying to be kind to myself, telling myself, because a lot of times with depression is that there's a lot of negative self-talk swirling around your head. And there's a lot of self-loathing like self-hate. So I would say being kind to myself, just being gentle with myself and giving myself time. There are days when it's just so hard to get things done, and being kind to myself would be saying it's okay. It's okay to have this downtime. And just knowing that, you know, maybe people will not be able to understand, but you owe it to yourself to give yourself this break, give yourself this space to heal and get better.
So I think telling yourself that life may get tough, but it's important to stay happy throughout this important times, because as much as saying that, hey, what goes down must always go up, but we need to stay in this down period to reflect upon yourself, and as well as, you know, understanding why do I feel this way.
Good point.
Yeah.
Sorry, I need to jump in
No,
on
no,
this.
please jump in.
Yeah, like the understanding of self that's really important. I think COVID was very helpful in that.
You want to share a bit about it?
I think COVID gave me a very legitimate reason to slow down, and I think that helped me a lot during my healing process. Yeah, COVID was actually, I have to thank COVID because I actually actually reflected a lot on myself, and I took the time out and say, you know, it's okay to just slow down. So depression, I actually did some, like, I actually do like some therapies, like hypnotherapies. Yeah, did I share with you?
No, this is my first time hearing this. Now I'm learning more and more about you.
Okay. That was very fun. Okay, so I did, because a lot of times when depression, right, it's often a result of like programming, subconscious programming.
Okay.
Right. So I wanted to get rid of that programming. Yeah, and I know it within myself. I've been trying and telling myself self-talk. Those are conscious level, you see.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go into the subconscious level to get rid of this programming. So I went like for like hypnotherapy to like switch that flip that switch. Yeah.
So how has therapy changed your life, especially during circuit breaker period? Because I'm sure that being cooped up at home is not going to be very easy in terms of trying to heal, and as well as being in that therapeutic state. So how was the journey like?
Okay, let's talk about, I think I wanted to talk about two things, but first let's talk about the hypnotherapy. I think that the therapy, right, it really helped me break that mind state. Yeah, that subconscious programming of maybe I'm not good enough, which can, you know, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I don't deserve love. These kind of things can lead into depression. A lot of this like self-hate that we pick up as we grew up can lead to a lot of like self-loathing and self-hate. That's one. Another thing was self-care. I really had to make the effort to exercise, to eat well, because if your body is not in a good state, it will affect your mind as well. Yeah. So I definitely took a lot of walks in the sun. You know, sun makes you happy.
Yes, that's why we need vitamin D in our lives.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of self-care.
I think you mentioned to me just prior to the podcast that you really love walking in the rain. So maybe you want to share a little bit about that story? She's drinking, by the way, in case you're wondering why is an awkward pause there.
Okay, that was just random. I just find happiness in small things.
Yeah.
I just happened to be walking in the rain. I got caught in the rain, but I'm like, I just decided to be like very happy and just splash around like a little child. Yeah.
Oh my god! If I did that when I was young, right?
Yeah.
My mom would be scolding me.
My mom will pull my ear.
But I think as an adult now, nobody's gonna care about you. Your mom will just think you're just crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think this is the kind of things that a lot of us keep forgetting, that finding this little joy in life is important.
Yeah, definitely.
Like if making coffee is gonna make you happy, just go for it. If buying something that you like is gonna make you happy, just go ahead. If you want to listen to your favorite music, go ahead. I mean, all these little things really does help in in my life. For example, like when I'm commuting to work, right, I like to listen to a lot of music. And I always tell people this. I'm not a huge fan of listening to music that is lyrics based. So a lot of instrumental based music.
Okay.
So I'm the weird person that doesn't listen to a lot of like trendy pop music and that kind of stuff. Not because I don't like it, it's because I find joy in listening to instrumental because you absorb yourself with the tune of the music and as well as this tune really defines your life. And imagine let's just say, right, sometimes like if I want to travel around, I want to spice up my life.
Yep.
I will just add in like a chase scene music. This kind of thing just makes me feel happy for no reason.
Chasing music. Okay, that's new.
Okay, because I was listening.
That's new.
I just
That's
recently
new.
watched Inception.
Oh, nice.
There's this one scene in the movie. They were running through the Bombasa, and that music piece, right, I was listening to. I've been binging it a lot. So when I'm traveling around, when I'm like in the office, like doing work, I keep listening to that music, and then my mind will be okay. It helps me being productive as well. That's one. But two, right, it makes me feel like there's something coming up. Something exciting coming up. So this kind of things, right, if it helps you to stay positive,
Yeah.
it just go ahead. Nobody's gonna stop you because that's you being you, isn't it?
Different strokes for different folks.
If eating junk food is gonna make you happy,
No.
no, that's different.
No junk food. Okay.
Okay.
I think it's an indulgence, yes, but I think how to say? Sorry, I really cannot emphasize how much a good diet is really important for a healthy state of mind.
Okay, maybe.
Sorry to sound so preachy.
No. Okay, because you did mention that you went into this gluten-free lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because I know we want to talk about this in a future episode, but maybe you can talk a little briefly about it, like why the gluten-free lifestyle and as well as how has it changed your life?
Oh, okay. It's not really. I guess I just fell into going gluten free because I realized that I'm very very sensitive to it. So if I ate gluten, it would cause me not only physical problems but also like emotional and mental difficulties. I'll get this mind fog. It's so hard to focus. I'll get so tired. It's so hard to do anything because it seems like my system just seems to shut down and I can't even. I'm too exhausted to hold a decent conversation. So
Okay.
yeah, so just I had to cut off gluten. And once I cut it off, I just feel like much happier. I feel much more energetic. I feel more clear-minded.
Okay, so
Yeah.
there are two things that came up to my mind while you're mentioning about all of this. The first thing is that how does gluten-free help with your emotional mind?
Okay, this is so from what I've read,
Okay.
from the research I've read, right? Is that gluten causes inflammation to your system, to your body. So if your body is inflamed, it will also affect your brain, right? Because of the gut and brain axis. So whatever you eat, if it's bad for your system, it will affect your brain as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
So do you encourage people to go into gluten-free lifestyle? Really, it's not preaching the lifestyle, but I would say that if it helps to heal from a depression episode,
Yep.
do you think gluten-free is the way to go?
I would say just give it a shot. Maybe you could. I would suggest, because I know how much cutting gluten has helped me.
Okay.
So if you're curious about going gluten free, I would suggest cutting it out for your diet for say a month, maybe 2 weeks to a month, and then you reintroduce it back. So by eliminating it for your diet, right? By doing this elimination diet where you cut it off and then you introduce it back, you will be able to tell, like, let's say you start having like headaches, you're not feeling well, that's when you realize that it would do you good to remove gluten from your diet.
That's interesting because something I read online about how to cope with depression was that diet does play a good part of it.
Definitely.
And not just diet, but as well as exercising. So, of course, I mean, junk food being junk food, of course, it's nice to eat once in a while. But when you're feeling a little depressed,
Yep.
it's not very advisable to eat it because of the contents of the food So it does not really help you because I don't have the research with me. It's just based on what I've read and if I recall correctly statements. So don't quote me on this. But but based on what I've read, that it's not really helping you with your mental health. So eating more greens, eating more organic foods, eating more gluten-free, it does help with making your making your health a little bit more healthier in a way, as well as it just works as a toxin removal in a way. I'm not sure if that's correct, but that's what I've read and what I've kind of noticed when I was going through an episode. So eating a little bit more healthier, that means eating more fruits and vegetables, eating less carbs and all that, it does help me, with my mood wise.
Wow.
And drinking more water, it does help as well.
Oh, okay.
Because I am a firm believer that if you can drink water, just try to drink water. But I mean, because now I'm in the office, then the pantry has a lot of drinks and snacks. I think that's different, but I still drink a lot of water. So I try my best to drink at least 2-3 liters of water every day.
Yeah.
And people already find that a lot of water.
Oh, okay.
And to me, that's like the minimum amount I should be going through every single day. So I remember there was once when I was going through my protein shake diet. That means it's just protein shakes for morning and evening, and as well as just your 3 veg 1 meat for your basically cai fan for eating as an afternoon for your lunch. So I realized that my mood became a little better, and I find myself craving less unhealthy stuff, which knows all this unhealthy food does help you make to be less unstable in terms of your emotions because whenever I keep eating all this, right, it's like a way for me to just keep eating. It's a binge eating.
It's addictive, right?
Yeah, it's very addictive. Yeah, so it's not very healthy after a while. So I find myself easier to binge eat on those like fast food or those kind of finger food stuff.
Yep.
But if it's like a typical meal, it's like how much can you really eat of that? I will get sick of it after a while, but sick of it of a good way. It's not like bad way, of course So eating cai fan, right? It makes me feel very happy because I see all the colors. Colors does help in your life as well. So seeing more like nature, seeing more like colorful things. Yeah. So all this does really help you. Yeah. So exercising wise, I think we talked a little bit about that in a previous episode in the Lim Kopi podcast. But maybe you just want to share a little bit about how does exercising help you with coping depression?
How does it help me? So since COVID, I have this habit of working out before going to work. I realize it makes me more clear-headed, less sluggish throughout the day. And just mood-wise, you just feel happier. Like after you had a good sweat in the morning, like there's like dopamine. There's a like dopamine running through your systems. Yeah, so I feel alert and chirpier after a workout. So I try to incorporate that into my daily routine. Okay, even if let's say if I'm rushing, I try to do it like at least once every 2 days.
Yep. I remember from your Instagram that you do post quite a bit of your workout routines online, and quite intense at some of the workout for me. I mean, I did not try it yet, but from what I've noticed is that they're all mostly static workouts. So things that you can really do at home.
Yeah.
And now that we are transitioning into work from home, a lot of people have this misconception that exercise is something that you have to do for like at least a few hours kind of thing.
Oh,
But,
okay.
or at least from what I've heard from my friends, they have this impression that workout takes a lot of time, but all you just need is 30 minutes. Yeah, so I know I'm fat, but it just sounds a bit of irony that I'm saying all this but I do work out quite a bit prior to my full-time job. So now that my full-time job is a bit tricky because of the crazy irregular working hours I have, but if I have my down times, I will try my best to go and work out lah. That's different, of course. But all you just need is just 30 minutes, or maybe do something that is high intensity lah, which is statics. Statics is quite high intensity, or it can be,
Yeah.
or it can be moderate depending on what you're doing exactly. If it helps, you can try dancing.
Yeah.
Like, because I have a dance central at home,
Uh-huh.
or Just Dance, or I'm not sure if you heard of that. So it's like those Xbox thing where
With the mat.
no, that's Dance Revolution. That's like how many generations ago.
I got stuck in time.
Okay, basically how it works is that there's a motion sensor,
Uh-huh.
and it sensors how you move
Oh.
on your floor. And whatever the gameplay is like showing the dance moves, and it will register as how accurate your moves are accordingly to the screen.
Oh.
So let's just say that if you move it perfectly, they give you certain points.
Oh, nice.
If you move it in a way that is not so accurate, then they'll
Yep.
give you lesser points.
Oh,
if
okay.
you missed it, means you missed it lah.
Okay.
So it's a way for you to work out, and I think you don't need to find pain in working out.
Yeah,
If
definitely.
you can find some joy in it,
Yep.
if you find like going for a basketball, going for badminton, all that, or going for swimming, it helps. All this really does help out in exercising. So
Yeah.
like what you mentioned, right? You feel more refreshed. You feel like you can concentrate better at work.
Yeah.
I think all of this really does put a meditation and how exercising really helps with your mental state and your mental well-being. And I actually felt much more happier when I was doing exercising. And it's a drug itself, because when you exercise for the first time, yes, it's a bit painful.
Yeah.
You do get the sores and all that. You find it very tiring. But once you get the rhythm going, right, you want to keep doing it as much as you can.
Do you know what's my secret? You know what's my little hack for working out?
What is it?
I honestly don't like to work out. So throughout my mind, I'm like, I love this. I love working out. I'm in bed. So I try to work out once I wake up. And then as I'm rolling a bit, I'm like, oh, I love it. I'm just looking forward to this workout. And then you kind of like psych your mind, yeah. So as you're doing your body, as you're working out your body, it's like, this is actually not bad. And you know, when it's framing, you know, when you frame it to a very positive, like, oh, this is so fun. This is what I'm looking out. This is what I've been looking forward to. Yeah, and then your body just, you know, somehow you fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
So I kept telling myself, my body, oh, I love this. And then actually it's not as difficult as I thought. Yeah.
That's quite true. I think it's most important is to understand your own body. So don't give yourself too much stress when you're exercising, because when I exercise, right, it's like a freedom of expression in your body. So the freedom to move, the freedom to just think of how you want to just lose the weight. And when I do lose the weight, right, I do feel happy. But
nice.
of course, do it healthily. Don't do it in a very unhealthy way. So make sure that you're making healthy progress when you're doing it. And also the diet does help as well. So maybe we just get to a few more questions before we end off this podcast. Maybe we did share a little bit about your story in terms of how you how you face depression, and as well as how you dealt with it. Maybe I just share a little bit about mine as well.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So maybe more towards my secondary school period, because that was the period where I started to understand my passion towards content producing.
Oh,
but I didn't know the
nice.
term was called content producing. I just thought, it's just called filmmaker or just called video editing, because that's literally the two things I kind of knew when I was young. So until when I'm much more older, or at least like a few years ago, and I mean ago as in today ago, that's when I realized that this is called content producing. But back then I didn't know what is content producing. So as a kid, right, when you're producing YouTube videos in school, people would have this assumption that you're trying to be famous. So I don't blame them necessarily, but coming as a kid who enjoys producing videos and just want to keep experimenting with the medium of YouTube, it's very sad to have this impression from people that that you're just trying to be famous, you're just trying to be an attention seeker. I mean, yes, I might have come off the vibes that I'm trying to be, but genuinely, I want to be in this industry badly.
Cool.
And a lot of teachers kind of knew that, oh, I'm the person who wants to go into this industry. So, because they were quite impressed the fact that, oh, this kid really knows what he wants to do when he's very young. But unfortunately, because I take comments quite personally, when I was a kid, especially, I mean, it's still a work of progress for me today. But most importantly is that, right, when I was younger, I took things personally and I do get offended very easily. So I shut myself a lot. I stay away from a lot of criticism as much as I can. And I try to pretend that things didn't happen. So for example, when they criticize me, I'll just ignore and I'll tell the teacher and everything. But again, like, you know how kids being kids, you tell the teacher, then the bullies will just continue bullying you because they find a trigger point, because you keep telling the teacher scold them, then it's a loop. So I found myself stuck in this loop where the more I complain about it, the more bullying I receive.
Oh.
And even if I stop it, right, they will keep bullying me because I don't do anything about it.
Okay.
So at that point of time, right, I really felt the emotion, which was I couldn't explain what was it. Which now I learned that I was feeling a little depressed at that point of time. And how I dealt with it was that I really shut myself out and I stopped doing anything that was related to what I love. And when I stopped that, right, I was in that reflective state of mind that I realized that what I was doing wasn't what they are trying to say. Means is that, right, they thought that, oh, Kok Hao is trying to do this because he's trying to be famous. But when I shut myself out, I did not interact much with my friends. Actually, a lot of friends kind of like avoided me as well. So I didn't really blame them for this. But I think at that point of time, I realized that when I was the most alone, I could really hear myself the most. Because you have nobody else to turn to but yourself. And that's why I realized that I'm on my own. Then I realized that I still really enjoy what I'm doing. So then I make a point to pursue what I really love, which is towards content producing and as well as like video editing, filmmaking if I can. And even up to this day, yes, I still receive criticisms from those people back then. But I think after a while, they kind of realized that, I'm serious in what I'm doing. And I don't let all these criticisms pull me down. And it's hearing yourself first. That's most important I'm trying to drive at for this episode of depression that I had back then. So I'm not discounting any of the fact that depression works the same way for anybody. Because how does she define it is the different way of how I define it as well. So for her, it can be through like life experiences or things like how she eats or that kind of stuff. But for me, it's mostly life experiences because I find myself like being in a lot of interesting places in my life that has triggered a lot of very bad thoughts in my life. So this is just one of them. And I'm very thankful that I have grown, not say grown out of this, but I've grown up to be a better person.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So before we end off, maybe we just want to share a few platforms that anybody out there who is facing any depressive episodes can seek help to. So based on our what we have shared, what do you think how can we cope with depression? I mean, we did mention a few examples like dieting, exercising, or just going out for a walk. But is there any other ways that we can deal with depression? What do you think? There's no right or wrong answers. It's just based on their own experience.
I think another thing is that it can feel very isolating. The most comfortable thing when you're going through an episode would be you want to shut yourself out, and you want to shut yourself in and shut everyone else out. I think what was helpful for me was actually finding a group of very supportive people.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, to sometimes it's you just need. I think that talking to someone, talking to people you trust, is good, because sometimes I think a third party point of view is very important to help me be more impartial.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
I could stop that vicious cycle. Sometimes, when you're stuck in that vicious cycle, you can't see beyond. I couldn't see beyond myself. But if I talk to someone, I realize that, actually I can do this. It could be a very small issue, and I'm just, maybe like you said, taking things personally, right? Yeah, I think being open to getting help. Of course, it is to very trusted people. That helped me as well.
Yeah, I think I can't stress the fact that how talking to people really helps for people. It definitely helped for me, especially because when I was going through a breakup, of course, you're in that depressive episode where things are not going your way, things are ending for you. But I realized that after talking to people, right, not saying I'm overreacting, but I'm not placing things on the right perspective. So after talking to people, right, they help me putting the right tracks in my life. And I'm very grateful that their support was important, because I couldn't have imagined without their support, like how they're not there for me and all that. So their support is important, I would say. And most importantly is that it doesn't mean that they have to say something. It means support. They're being physically, mentally, or just them emotionally. It's important enough already. They don't need to ramble on about how they can help you, but just being there for you is important. Like, if I know like somebody is just a phone call away, just call that person. If a friend, if you don't have friends that you can trust, even a family member works as well. If you have nobody in the family that you can really trust, you can talk to an adult professional, which is through therapy or through counseling. There is really no shame in going through all of this. I have gone through a bit of therapy. I went through a little bit of counseling before. Yes, some people might find it a taboo to talk about it, but I find that everybody needs help. There's no shame in getting help.
Or if you're uncomfortable, you don't need to tell people you're seeking help. You can just go straight to the professional.
Yeah, you don't need to tell people. Just go for it. Yeah. So I think most importantly is that if you need help, just go for it. Don't wait it when it's too late, because you're at that point of time where I would say support is important. So
Correct.
just go for it. You have anything you want to add on?
I think owing it to yourself. You just owe it to yourself to take care of yourself. Yeah.
Most importantly, as we are transiting into work from home stage, it's important to understand yourself. It's important to always seek help if you're feeling overwhelmed, especially for those that does not have a very clearly defined working life, because things gets in the way. And I'll be very honest, even for myself, I need to remind myself that I need to separate work from my personal life. So it's important to check yourself whether you're really happy in your life or not. I'm not asking you to quit your job. That's different. But just remember that priorities is your own happiness. If you're not feeling happy, remember to take a step back. Just take a chill pill. Watch your favorite show or something, and then come back to what it is that is presenting to you, which is called life. So remember to slow down, like what we have mentioned in the very beginning, and just go for it in whatever life takes you. Yeah. So one last question, sorry. Do you have any advices for your younger self?
My younger self?
Yeah.
regarding like
Yeah, maybe let's just say during when you're much younger lah. Like it can be any general life advice lah. Yeah.
I think something I learned very late in life is I still go back to self-love.
Mm.
I think that a lot of times when we don't take care of ourselves, when we tell ourselves very nasty things about ourselves, we're not good enough. I feel it comes back to lack of self-love, this feeling of inadequacy. So I think it's easier said than done. The self-love is easier said than done. It's definitely a process that took me several years,
Yeah.
but I think it's worth taking a first step and just keep going on from there.
I think one thing I have to add on is that healing knows no time. So what I mean by that is that don't be pressured to heal within a certain specific amount of time. Take your time to heal. So don't force yourself that, I must heal within 1 week or something, or I must heal within 1 month, which I actually kind of gave myself time to heal for my breakup. But I realized that it's not about the time. It's about the journey to healing.
Yes,
So
that's important.
don't force yourself. Take as much time as you need. When you're ready, you know when you're ready. So that's one thing I want to give to my younger self as an advice. Okay, I'm sorry that this is a very heavy episode, but it's something that I'm just trying out with the format of this series. But I think what we are trying to discuss is something that is not very easily discussed among friends lah. But one thing I'm trying to understand from this topic is that this topic is something that a lot of people do avoid. But if you definitely need help or you want to seek help in it, in trying to cope with depression or at least like any other mental issues, do know that your friends and family are there for you. As well as if you're seeking for resources, do feel free to check in the description box below. If you are watching this from YouTube or Spotify, there are some resources out there that you can actually look for. We're just coming from our own personal experiences. Please don't quote us. We're just trying to share our personal experiences because I think sharing, it does help with the healing as well.
Yes.
So I think this is something I forgot to mention. But if you need any professional help, please seek the links in the description box below. It will definitely help in your journey to heal. Alright, so thank you so much, Eden.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, I hope you are okay with this episode. I know it's quite dry, but as well as in terms of how heavy this topic is. So
I'm happy to be here.
yeah,
No worries.
so next time, I swear it will be about gluten-free.
Sounds good.
And I know you're going to be very passionate in that topic. So,
Yes. Equally passionate.
yeah, so we come to the end of this episode. If you do enjoy this content, do give us a like in the YouTube. Give us a comment as well, and do check out our Lim Kopi podcast in Instagram as well, and so on Spotify and in YouTube as well. So Eden, how can we reach out to you if any of our viewers want to reach out to you?
You can find me on Instagram at Her Clean Slate. So it's HerCleanSlate. Just drop me a DM and we'll be happy to chat.
Yes, so do check out her, and as well as she has a lot of interesting content there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I do enjoy reading your stuff. As well as you're talking a little bit about sound development as well. Maybe if you are interested in that aspect, she does share regularly on the Instagram as well. So do feel free to check out that. And once your book is ready, do let me know.
Definitely.
We'd love to read it. Okay, so thank you so much for tuning in for this episode of the podcast. My name is Kok Hao,
I'm Eden.
and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.